Hey Red Group, it's Mrs. Butch. I am here to give you some help on your practice paragraph number 2. It was the Paul is feeling left out paragraph. There are some supplies you need. Let's talk about them. You should see these 2 folders on your set of desks. You can get in these folders and get everything you need. Here's what's in the folders. First, we have the transitions, words, and commentary starters, and then we have the paragraph format. You might not need these things, maybe you already have them, but if you need another copy, go ahead and take them. You will also need this to-do list. It's actually a checklist, and once you are done, you can start checking things off. And then you will also need this paper. It's a full-size sheet. Please put your name on it. It's pretty important. Other supplies that you'll need, please find this paper. Hopefully you still have it, maybe in your VIP section, maybe in your notes. Please look for it. It'll help you if you have it. If you absolutely don't have it, can't find it, didn't do it, then it'll be okay. It's just going to be easier if you have it. You will need a pencil, obviously, and you'll need access to the highlighters. They're on your desk. You don't need them now anyways, but just know that you'll be getting those eventually. All right, listen, you are in this group because your paragraph for Paul is feeling left out needs a little work. So I'm going to help you with this paragraph, and then hopefully you can kill it on your 3rd paragraph, the whole Betty Bright is a good coach paragraph. But let's go ahead and talk about your Paul feels left out paragraph. All right, I have in front of you, if you can get this paper in front of you, the one that's on the screen, I have written a perfect paragraph for you, but I've left a few things out. The things that I've left out a couple commentary sentences and some text evidence. We're going to go through this paragraph and you're going to be working on it because we hope that this will help you write a better paragraph next time. It doesn't matter if you go back to your Paul is left out paragraph because you might not understand what you did wrong. So I want to show you how to do it the right way so that you can move forward and get better, obviously. All right, so right now you are working on the first to-do list item. You're working on this one right here. The other ones I'll explain later. The first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about what you should have written your paragraph about. The prompt was to prove that Paul feels left out by his family or friends. If you didn't write a paragraph about this, that was the first mistake that you made. That was the prompt that you were supposed to write about. All right, let's take a look at the topic sentence that I wrote here, and please go ahead and make these notations on your paper as well. So the topic sentence, obviously you guys know that it's the first sentence. There are some things that you can do to help yourself write a really good topic sentence. We talked about using the name of the book. I have it right here. We talked about using the author, and then honestly, I kind of just copied down part of the prompt, and that helped me a lot. I mean, I added some nice fluffy stuff here and called him the main character because I felt like that added a little more to my topic sentence, so it wasn't so simple. But really, right here in red, this is just stuff that I found in the prompt. And as you can see, if I go back to the prompts, look, Paul feels left out by his family or friends. I pretty much just copied that from the prompt, and that's cool. Make sure you do that. Use words from the prompt in your topic sentence. Now, if I go back to the format that you should have in front of you, I've done the topic sentence. Check, done. If you are not following the format, I would invite you to please start using the format. At this point, 3 paragraphs in, it's unacceptable to not be using the format, and I will tell you what, some of you still are not doing it. The very next thing I should see in my paragraph is a green transition word, followed by a smooth introduction and then text evidence. Let's see how it looks. I've got it right here. Transition word. Smooth introduction, text evidence. This time my text evidence came in the form of a quote. Now something interesting that you'll see with my quote is my quote doesn't start until right here. So I still had some more things that I wanted to say introducing this. Remember, this was at the beginning of the story when Paul and Mom got to Florida and Eric just had nothing to say to Paul. I found this on page 10. It was really easy to find. I did want to use this part starting right here and ending here, but when I tried to start writing my paragraph, the word he didn't work. In the text it says he waved casually to mom. Right here it would say he. I needed it to say Eric, so I used that tricky ... that we showed you, and then I used Eric's name first. If I'm looking back at the organizer, I just finished sentence 2. That was this one right here. Now that means I need to start my next sentence with a commentary starter because it's going to be a commentary sentence. Which starter do you like? I don't know. Pick one. But I can show you the one I picked. I picked "This proves that." And then this time I decided not to go for a synonym. I just went with "Paul is left out" because. So I didn't go with a synonym. I used feels left out in the topic sentence, and I used it again. I probably shouldn't use it a third time in my paragraph, but this time I was okay with it. Now, your job is to pause this video and try to write a commentary sentence. In a second, I'm going to show you the one I wrote, and can you just look at it and be lazy and not doing your own work? Absolutely. But I need you to know that when you don't practice, you're not going to get any better. And that's going to be a problem for you, maybe not now, but when we write our embedded assessment that is 50% of the grade, you better believe that that's going to be a problem then. So here's what I need you to think about. I need you to think about, why does it make Paul feel left out if his brother completely ignores him? Why would that make someone feel left out? Why would that hurt Paul's feelings? Why would that make him feel, why is that strange? That's a weird thing. Paul and his brother haven't seen each other in way over a week, and his brother ignores him when he walks in the door. That is weird. You need to try and write a commentary sentence to prove to me why that would make Paul feel left out. So you're going to have to put yourself in Paul's place and think about it. Commentary is an inference, that's why it's hard to write. Pause the video and try and write your own commentary sentence. All right, hopefully you just wrote your own commentary sentence. Here's mine. This proves that Paul is left out because Eric purposely chose not to say hello to his brother, who he hasn't seen in a while, and he acts like Paul doesn't even exist, which is a very mean thing to do. All right, so some of the details that I added here to make it seem like Paul would feel really left out is that they haven't seen each other in a while, so this was important. And then he acts like Paul doesn't even exist. He completely ignores him, doesn't even acknowledge that he's in the room. That's a mean thing to do, and it would make anyone feel left out. Is yours similar to mine? A little bit? Not at all? You need to judge. If you have something close, then you're probably on the right track. If you have something way off and crazy and it's not even close to this, then we need to keep on working on commentary. All right, let's take a look at the next one. We just finished sentence 3, so we need to move on to sentence 4. As you can see, sentence 4 is going to be evidence number 2 sentence. And it has to start with a green transition word. So let's check it out. Yup, starts with a transition word. This time I chose next. Next, when Paul is thinking about all of the things his family is going to do, he wonders if he will be able to make a difference for the soccer team. Let me show you where I got this text evidence from the story. It's on page 22, and it can be found in that blue box. So as you can see in my paragraph, I didn't use any of this quote. I used the strategy of paraphrasing here. So when I paraphrased, I did not include any of the small details. I did not include anything about Eric changing the football team, because that's just a small detail. I didn't include that dad is going to have a new job, and I didn't include anything about mom being in the homeowners association. What I did include, because they're not the important characters, I'm not trying to prove that they're left out, or I'm not trying to prove anything about them. What I'm trying to do is prove how Paul is going to feel. So I did include the detail about him making a difference on the soccer team. As you can see on page 22, Paul uses the word that he was thinking about all of these things. When I started my paragraph, I also used the word that Paul is thinking. But I did not, as you can see, I did not specifically include all of these things. I just have that he's just thinking about all of these things. Then I decided to use a synonym here. He wonders if he's going to be able to make a difference for the soccer team. All right, now I feel like this one is a little bit tricky, but I need you to pause the video here and try and write a commentary sentence. So, how is Paul feeling nervous and worried and wondering if he's going to have a place in his new home? How does that show that he's feeling left out or neglected or ignored? How does that make him, why does this text evidence prove that Paul feels this way? This is a little bit tricky, but I think you're ready for a challenge. Pause the video and write your own commentary sentence. Hopefully you wrote a great commentary sentence. Let me show you mine. My commentary sentence starts right here. This suggests that Paul feels like he is rejected because it seems like everyone in his family has a place in their new town except for him. This time I did not use left out because I feel like that's being used too much. So I looked up a synonym and I found rejected, and that one worked really nicely for me. I thought it was a good one. According to the paragraph format, we have just completed sentence number 5, which means that sentences 6 and 7 will need to be written. If you take a look at the paper that I gave you, you can see that I wrote the concluding sentence for you. On your paper, you should now have this filled out, and you should have this filled out as well. This is where you should be. Right now, you should be right about here. Can you kind of see and tell that these lines right here are a little bit darker? You should be able to. This is where the last commentary sentence just went. So you should be starting right here, and this is where you are going to write your very own sentences numbers 6 and 7. So now you are going to be picking out a transition word, and you are going to be writing your own smooth introduction, and then you will be finding a piece of evidence. If you have this paper, you should have a third piece of text evidence used. Maybe you even have a commentary sentence filled in right here as well. Maybe it's not good. Maybe now you know ways that you can make it better, but you might have this. If you don't have this paper, I would suggest that you go to page 75 in your Tangerine novel, and you would find a time when Paul felt left out. This was when he went to the carnival, and it should not be hard to find. You should be able to find your own piece of text evidence on page 75 if you don't have the organizer. This is your turn now. Right here, you need to make sure that you follow the format. You are only writing sentences 6 and 7 on your own, so follow the format and write your own sentences 6 and 7 right here. I already wrote the concluding sentence for you, so you don't even have to do that. But I would like you to read it because it's a really good one and it can give you an idea of how to write your next one. All right, now what are you going to do once you finish that? Let's go back to the checklist. We're almost done. Your to-do checklist. When this video ends, you can go ahead and check this off because you will have watched the video and you can complete all the tasks in the video. The next thing that you need to do after you are done with this video, it's right here. You are going to use the highlighters to highlight your Paul is left out paragraph according to the organizer. So yep, you got to go back to this paragraph you wrote and you have to color code it just like you do in Google Docs and just like we've done before. Color code this paragraph. When you've color coded the paragraph, you can check that off. The next thing you'll do, the next task that you'll do is written right here. You open your Google Doc where you wrote Dad is obsessed, where you wrote Paul is left out, if you wrote it, and you'll read the comments. If you wrote this paragraph, we gave you very specific, amazing comments. You do not have to try and fix these things because we just wrote one together. Don't fix them. But what we would like you to do is read them very carefully because we don't want you to make the same mistakes on your next paragraph. The next task is to start practice paragraph number 3. It's about Betty Bright. Remember the organizer with the ovals on it that we did yesterday? It was homework. You are going to write a paragraph proving that Betty Bright is a good coach. You can find all of the directions for writing this paragraph, I mean all of them, on the white paper that is in the purple basket on your table. And the final thing that you need to do, the very last thing, and you will be all done for the day, there is an exit ticket on Mrs. Messner's website. Please fill that out. It's 3 yes/no questions and it will not take you very long. I hope that your Betty Bright paragraph is awesome. I think that if you've worked hard today, it's going to be great because remember your goal. Your goal is to keep moving on our rubric. So if you got a 1 or a 2, we want you to a 3. And that's the goal. So good luck. I know it's going to be awesome.